Thank you very much, Dean Rafel, and thank you so much for all of the assistance throughout the search process. I must confess to all of you that chairing the search committee that recommended Patty Salkin as the new dean of Touro Law Center was really very easy. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the members of the committee, and in particular, to thank the outstanding members of the Touro Law Center faculty who played such a remarkable and instrumental role in all of our deliberations. We owe them an enormous debt of gratitude. But I must also confess that summarizing the remarkable career that led our committee to its decision, at least in the minute or two that I've been allotted, that is a seriously daunting task. But let me try. There are so many facets to Patty Salkin's professional accomplishments. A nationally recognized scholar of the first rank in the areas of land use and zoning and government law, Patty is the author of 2 casebooks, 2 treatises, has edited more than 20 books, has authored more than 60 law review articles. I can't begin to count the number of footnotes. She has delivered papers and presentations internationally and nationally at the invitations of governments and national and statewide organizations, has visited the campuses of almost 24 U.S. law schools and 2 in China to participate in various scholarly programs. Patty's activities on behalf of the organized bar and the academy rival her achievements as a scholar, a member of the American Law Institute, a fellow of the American College of Real Estate Lawyers, chair of the section on state and local government of the American Association of Law Schools, a member of the House of Delegates of the American Bar Association and past chair of its state and local government law section, and a member of the House of Delegates of the New York State Bar Association and chair of its municipal law section. A dedicated and inspiring teacher, serving as professor of law at Albany Law School for over a decade, and the recipient last year of the Innovative Education Award from the Center for Excellence in Law Teaching. And an outstanding leader and innovator, directing the Government Law Center at Albany Law School for over 20 years, and serving as Associate Dean at Albany since 1998. And somehow, amidst all of this activity, Patty has been able to find the time to serve on the transition teams for 1 governor and 2 attorneys general, and on advisory boards, commissions, task forces, and panels far too numerous to mention. An extraordinary scholar, a prolific writer and lecturer, a dedicated teacher, a leader of the bar, and an outstanding law school administrator, Patty Salkin, without doubt, met and exceeded every possible expectation that a dean search committee could set. But above all else, as the search committee came to learn, as the Touro Law Center faculty recognized in making their recommendation, and now as the entire Touro Law School community understands, Patty Salkin is a woman of vision, of passion, and of uncompromising commitment to innovation in preparing law students to serve their clients, their communities, and the public interest. We are confident that Patty Salkin, like her distinguished predecessors, will lead Touro to ever greater accomplishment and ever greater recognition. Will all of you please join me as I present our new dean, Patricia Salkin.
Thank you. Dr. Kadish and distinguished guests, family, friends, and faculty, thank you all for being here and for participating in such an important event in the history of our college and our law school. I am honored and humbled by everyone's presence and support, and by the kind words shared by my colleagues and friends, and my parents, thank you as well. Judge Kaye, you have really given me the highest honor by your participation in this occasion, especially since for as long as I can remember, you have been one of my very best role models, in more ways than you even know. Thank you for making this especially memorable for me. Judge Graffio, the effort that you made to be here this evening, especially given the fact that the Court of Appeals has been in session this week, is sincerely appreciated. Our friendship and common bonds have developed over the past 20 years, and I treasure and sincerely appreciate your kind words on behalf of Chief Judge Lippman and the rest of the court. Judge Wackler, what a special treat. We had the opportunity to work together in Albany, and now we all benefit at Touro from your active engagement and involvement in the educational activities at the law school. And Judge Wexler, thank you very much for opening up your courthouse to our extended family and friends. I look forward to continuing to strengthen the already wonderful relationship that you spoke about between Touro Law Center and the federal judiciary. And in fact, we have some surprises that the judge and I have cooked up that will be announced soon. Thank you also to one of my newer friends, Allen Fagin, for your participation this evening. You were the bridge for me, if you will, between the past and the present, the initial face of Touro College and the quality that it represents. Just knowing that your support, wise counsel, and friendship is constant is a great comfort that I cherish. And thank you to my colleagues, Deborah Post, Larry Rafel, Howard Glickstein, Gary Shaw, and Richie Klein for their roles in this convocation. Before I begin some formal remarks and reflections on the future of the practice of law, legal education, and Touro Law Center, I need to share a secret with you. One of the remarkable things that distinguishes our law school from others is something that you can't quantify or measure, and something that you can't easily explain to outsiders. The very thing that I noticed upon interviewing and continue to see in greater depth and detail each day is the meaning of the Touro family. In fact, just this week, the Princeton Review of the Best Law Schools was released. Among the outstanding things reported about Touro Law was the following quote: "The greatest strength of my law school is the sense of community that begins from the moment you enter the school, waxes a 3L. I have personally witnessed, in my first 10 weeks at this institution, daily genuine acts of support, kindness, and nurturing that only exist within a family. I am proud to be part of this family, and I want to introduce my family to our new extended family. With me this evening is my wonderful and supportive husband of 26 years, Howard Gross. Can you stand up? Our exceptional children, Sydney and Jordan. Jordan wants to stand and bow. My parents, Sheila and Stu Salkin. And my sister, Robin Lebatkin. My extended family and friends from Rockland County and Albany are also here to share this evening, and thank you. My grandparents would have been kvelling if they were here tonight. They all knew of my passion for the law, and 3 of them saw me graduate from law school and begin my career. But the one that didn't, my grandfather, Milton Salkin, would have been especially elated, since he went to high school and later worked in a fraternal community service organization with Jacob D. Fuchsberg, for whom our law center is named. Indeed, it's a small world. I recently had the pleasure of meeting Roz Fuchsberg-Kaufman and Allen Fuchsberg, 2 of the judge's children, who I am delighted to say continue the family tradition of support and friendship as members of our Board of Governors. Dr. Kadish, I enthusiastically join the Touro College community and take great pride and appreciation in the responsibility which you have vested me. Your leadership of and vision for the future of Touro College is exciting and inspiring, and one which I am personally honored to be a part of. Many members of the Touro College team are here this evening, as Larry Rafel mentioned, but some of the ones that I have already started to work with and send lots of emails to. Rabbi Krupka, Mel Ness, Alan Shore, David Rabb, Michael Newman, and Eric Levine, and so many others who are integral to the growth and excellence of our network of educational programs. I also want to recognize and thank the deans and administrators from all of the Touro schools who have honored me with your presence tonight. And finally, I want to recognize the presence of our Law Center Board Chair, Howard Stein, and so many members of the Board of Governors who are with us, as well as Harold Sommer, President of our Alumni Association. I look forward to working with each of you to ensure our future success. Before we look forward, it's always important to take note of our history. And some of you may not know, especially for my family and friends from out of town. Touro College derives its name from Isaac Touro and his sons Judah and Abraham. Judah and Abraham were generous 19th century philanthropists whose commitment to academic excellence, social justice, and community service represent the ideals to which both the college and the Law Center are dedicated. As the college points out, our Jewish heritage embraces two fundamental components, the particular and the universal, as reflected in Hillel's dictum translated in Ethics of the Fathers, if we are not for ourselves, who will be? If we are concerned only with ourselves, what are we? I can think of nothing more significant to describe the values of our Law Center. As we all know, and as Judge Kaye alluded to, the legal profession is under siege. Lawyers, the practice of law, and legal education have all come under fire due to the costs associated with the administration of justice and with legal education. In many respects, old lawyer jokes that would circulate in hindsight seem tame compared to what's going on now in the popular media and on the internet. We cannot fall victim to the critics. We must hear and consider the criticism, and where appropriate, address legitimate concerns. And we must also stand up for what we know is the backbone of civil society, the rule of law. As lawyers, officers of the court, and individuals who have taken an oath to uphold our Constitution, we are not only privileged, but we are charged with special and at times daunting responsibilities to make sure that we stand up for others who cannot speak effectively for themselves. Reforms are inevitable, and they continue to unfold. As a longtime student of government and law reform, I know that we must constantly challenge ourselves to be self-reflective and critique how are we doing, while exploring how we might approach policies and systems in a better way. However, our challenge is even greater. We must be mindful that our profession and the education that supports it never loses sight of the critical importance of the administration of justice and access to legal services for all people. Our task is not to benefit one interest or one constituency over another. Rather, ours is to ensure that all people are treated with dignity and respect, and that all have adequate and appropriate access to justice. This is why it is both challenging and exciting to be appointed a law school dean at this point in our history. The fact remains that a legal education opened doors with its comprehensive and versatile curriculum that, among other things, teaches us to think critically, analyze facts, persevere, and solve problems. We know the value of a legal education because we see lawyers as leaders in business and industry, government, and in public interest fields. However, with the accelerated cost of legal education, we have a responsibility to make sure we remain a point of entry for those who are committed and passionately dedicated to the study and practice of law, but who lack the financial means to pay the sticker price. We must also continue to examine and re-examine our curriculum, mindful of the thoughtful critiques in the McCrate Report, the Carnegie Report, and best practices, to ensure that we are providing the appropriate balance of doctrinal theory and practical skills so that we graduate practice-ready lawyers. So let me spend the remainder of my time sharing with you why I have chosen to make Touro Law Center my new home. Ours is an institution poised for greatness, and I am confident that we will be widely recognized as a great New York law school. Our record of innovative teaching and learning and our historical commitment to pro bono and community service has been New York's best-kept secret for too long. It's time Touro Law steps forward more publicly with strategic leadership to proudly and boldly share the success of our great innovations with others. We will continue to focus on excellence. Excellence in teaching, excellence in scholarship, excellence in service, and excellence in students. Let me first focus on excellence in faculty. Our dedicated faculty consists of leading experts in their fields. They are leaders within the profession and engaged in pro bono work and in community service. Our extended adjunct faculty affords our students unique access to many outstanding judges, litigators, and in-house counsel. Our faculty is collegial and passionate. This does not go unnoticed by our students. In fact, the New Princeton Review states about Touro Law, and I'm quoting, "The smart, friendly, and approachable professors are excited to educate. Accessibility is not a problem. There is a high level of morale, and the daily interaction between student and professor is priceless. Faculty members are always willing to meet with and talk to the students outside the classroom, no matter how long or how many times they have to go over a given concept. Professors can be seen dining with students in the school's cafeteria while casually discussing the law," adds a 1L. We will do more to recognize, promote, and support the excellence in faculty that is a hallmark of this law school, including creating faculty chairs and distinguished professorships, such as the Bruce K. Gould Distinguished Professor of Law. And I thank Bruce Gould, who is with us here this evening, for stepping up so many years ago. But to accomplish this goal, and add to the start that Bruce has given us, I need the help and support of all of you in this courtroom. Our institutes are unique centers of excellence where faculty and students convene to focus on specialized areas of law. We house a unique institute for the study of the Holocaust and international human rights. Our Jewish Law Institute, combined with our significant Judaica collection housed in the Gould Law Library, has earned us an international reputation for scholars interested in Jewish law. While Touro Law Center has had a tradition of providing public interest fellowships, promoting access to justice, and encouraging students to provide support for advocacy groups and legal service providers, our Institute for Business Law and Technology provides opportunities for students and faculty to focus on legal services and policies of importance to the business community. We will support and grow these institutes to raise the profile and increase the work they do, while adding new centers and programs of excellence that make sense, given our geographic location, the needs of the region, and the strengths and interests of our faculty. We will also benefit from the interdisciplinary educational opportunities that will strengthen our educational offerings and add important perspectives for our teaching, scholarship, and programming. I want to thank my colleague, Sabra Block, Dean of the Touro Business School, for already spending a morning at the law school meeting with our faculty to explore collaborative ventures. And I also want to thank the head of our new medical school, Dr. Edward Halpern, who will be on campus in a couple of weeks for a similar conversation. This is only the beginning. Lastly, with respect to our educational offerings, Touro Law Center distinguishes itself from other schools in many respects, but first and foremost, as you've heard, is our location, which I can best describe as an integrated campus. Our new state-of-the-art facility, which many of you visited during today's open house, is, as you know, situated next to this wonderful federal courthouse and a state courthouse complex, creating a campus-like feel for the study and practice of law. This geographic advantage provides unmatched opportunities, which we have already started to seize, to develop an innovative court observation and collaborative court curriculum that integrates courtroom and classroom experience from the first year through the final year of law school. But we are not done. We will continue to experiment and build upon this curricular innovation. And with my colleague Judge Wexler and others, we will lead the way for other schools and courts to benefit from the exceptional Touro Law Center model. I want to thank President Kadish for his support of these goals by enabling already, among other things, the appointment of a new Associate Dean for Experiential Learning, making us one of a select group of law schools leading the way in legal education reform. We are the only law school in the United States that houses a public advocacy center, which we call the PAC. It's a suite of offices provided to approximately 12 legal service providers in exchange for their commitment to utilize our students in their work. The PAC provides a distinctive on-site educational opportunity for our students who volunteer and work with the tenant agencies to help with the provision of civil legal services, as well as to hone their public policy and advocacy skills. This is one of the several things that makes Chief Judge Lippman's new mandatory pro bono requirement easily achievable for our students. And of course, the fact that our faculty long recognized the educational value and a commitment to community service. For more than 2 decades, we already had a mandatory 40-hour pro bono requirement for graduation. The pro bono requirement was instituted under the leadership of my friend and colleague, Dean Emeritus Howard Glickstein, whose passion for public service is indelibly imprinted in the spirit of Touro Law Center. And the PAC was developed under my visionary predecessor, former Dean Larry Rafel, whose commitment to public interest continues to be tapped by the bench and the bar. Together, we will focus on strategic planning to strengthen the PAC and to more fully integrate it into the Law Center curriculum. Last, but certainly not least, I want to focus on our students. And our students know that they are at the top of my agenda. In fact, the students that are here today, could you please rise? I want to thank you for giving me the respect and for coming tonight to celebrate in this event. I am proud that we are a law school where legal education is in reach for so many people who are first generation in their families to pursue higher education and a graduate degree. We constantly celebrate diversity at Touro Law Center. In fact, the entering class this year includes 38% people of color, 46% are women. Students are citizens of 10 different countries, and the 1L class reports that they speak 25 different languages fluently. A class profile such as what I described enhances the cultural competency of our community. However, for most students, the cost of legal education is a barrier to knowledge, and a barrier to be able to take that knowledge, combined with their passion and skills learned, back to their communities to help serve those in need of access to justice. We must continue to strive to not allow financial access to legal education to be a deterrent for bright, talented, and capable would-be law students. We have to do more to raise scholarship and fellowship support for our students. And as a community, we have to help our students secure employment when they graduate. I'm going to be calling on all of you for that help. In fact, I already have. Among the many things I intend to do in this arena is to use the opportunity and responsibility of my appointment as Touro Law Center's first woman dean to focus attention to one aspect of this issue. I share this date in history with the birthday of a true pioneer for human rights and women's rights. I can't help but pause to reflect on the coincidence of this being Eleanor Roosevelt's birthday. An activist first lady and an inspiration to so many of us, Eleanor did many things, including helping to convince the president to create the National Youth Administration, which, among other things, provided financial aid to students. She chaired the UN Human Rights Commission and was a drafter of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. She was a friend and supporter of the State of Israel and so much more. I fear if she was a lawyer, she'd be having my job. How ironic that in this month's American Bar Association Journal, there's an article reporting a declining enrollment of women law students since 2002. Did you know that women today represent a higher percentage of the undergraduate population, yet in law schools the percentage is down from a high of over 50% in 1993 to just around 40% at most U.S. law schools? The contributors to the article point to the lack of growth opportunities for women in law firms as a root cause of this troubling trend. Sadly, in 2012, there are other reasons as well. We as a profession and we as an institution must ensure that legal education is accessible to all, regardless of gender. One of my heroines is Kate Stoneman, the first woman to be admitted to the bar in New York, after she went to the state legislature and the governor in 1886 to get the law changed to allow women to be admitted to the bar. She had, after all, already passed the bar exam. An activist in the suffrage and temperance movements, Kate stated a message to younger women, quote, "They must take their opportunities as they come. Always there are opportunities to be had." I am not so sure there are always opportunities. In fact, Judge Kaye, you have commented in the past about your disappointment with the lack of genuine advancement in the area of family and child care issues, which, as you noted, can be determinative in the careers of women. So today I am announcing that I am heeding Kate Stoneman's advice, and I am taking advantage of my opportunity and privilege as a woman dean to launch an effort to support women law students and women in the legal profession. The establishment of the scholarship in my honor to aid women law students is just an early glimpse of what we will do at Touro Law Center to create a more supportive and welcoming environment. And I want to thank my family and friends who have made this possible. I am honored to be working with a distinguished and energetic faculty, a dedicated staff, and a supportive network of alumni and friends. I am most proud of the leadership and work ethic I have already observed in our students. After all, the reason that I am here and the reason our faculty and administration is here is the passion and concern we share for educating tomorrow's lawyers, the people who will steward our country's commitment to rule of law and who will be leaders in all sectors of society. It is for the promise of tomorrow that we invest and work so hard to educate students today. Working together, we in this room will make a difference. Thank you.